We need to get into CinemaCon and all the shenanigans of the last week. What actually happened? What are the highlights? What can we actually take away from it as film enthusiasts? Let's get into this week in film. For those not familiar with CinemaCon, it's essentially the largest and most important gathering for the worldwide film and theatre industry. A very broad scope of programming, studio presentations and screenings are showcased at this event, and a range of film industry individuals such as actors, CEOs, directors make an appearance at this event and showcase their presentations of what is to come. So, a few things that came up that stuck out to me. Ted Sarandos talked to several key industry individuals, one being the head of AMC Theatres, over the possibility of putting more Netflix films into theatres. This is apparently a change of tune for him, as he has initially been staunchly opposed to expanding the theatrical window of Netflix films. No plans were made at these CinemaCon meetings, but the tone was described as hopeful, even though Sarandos maintains the idea that some films do better on streaming than movie theatres. In my view, I do see a future where Netflix are teaming up with movie theatres. Ironically, as a streaming service, it does feel like that's the inevitable next step for Netflix's reach and growth. However, to keep the essence of their streaming business model, they probably won't extend the window of the theatrical film that Netflix will release. It'll probably be maximum 1 to 2 weeks, I would say. Also at CinemaCon, Tom Rothman, who is the chairman and CEO of Sony Pictures Motion Picture Group, made a strong advocacy for theatres to enforce windows, have shorter pre-shows, and keep ticket prices in check. He says, "Get off the ad crack. Infrequent moviegoers come at the showtime and hate being forced to watch endless commercials, which they don't have to do at home where the movies are free." I absolutely love that wording. I literally had to put it on the thumbnail. I just love to hear the advocacy of the viewer experience when it comes to the cinema. I used to hate the adverts and trailers before watching my film in the cinema, but over time I actually began to really appreciate the trailers because it gives me good insight into what's to come. But I still don't appreciate the ads. I definitely would like to live in a world where there's shorter ads or none before our cinema showing. In regard to the rise in ticket prices, he says, "Affordability is by far the number one economic issue along the majority of Americans. Going to the movies must be affordable again. I know business has been tough. I'm not heckling. I'm rooting for you because many of you have wonderful investments in upgrading your theatres." This is a very reasonable request, and you can tell that he has good intentions behind his words, even sympathising with how tough the theatre business has been, especially in the last recent years since COVID. I do think we'll start seeing more exclusive incentives coming from movie theatres in order for people to come out their house and actually see more films in the cinema. Steven Spielberg made his first appearance at CinemaCon, and as well as the very intriguing trailer that they got to preview for Disclosure Day, his new film upcoming this year in June, he also talked about the importance of original filmmaking and extending the theatrical window of films. He says, "If all we make is known branded IP, we're going to run out of gas. There is nothing more important than giving the audience visual stories, and they can be in any form, but we need to tell more original stories. Studios need to help us by greatly expanding the exclusive windows like Universal Entertainment chief Donna Langley just did." With that last part, Steven Spielberg was referring to Universal increasing their theatrical window from 17 days to 45 days. I 100% agree with Steven Spielberg. We definitely need more original content. I wouldn't be surprised if there have been loads of original ideas from certain actors and film professionals in the industry, but they just get trumped by sequels and remakes because studios and distribution companies are looking to make a quick win based on a story that's already been done that was really successful before, or its prequel movie. This is making me even more excited for Disclosure Day. Judging by the trailer, it looks like we're in for a sci-fi treat, and sci-fi isn't even my biggest genre or most favorite genre, but I've noticed that the sci-fi films I do like happen to be created by Steven Spielberg, so I am certainly very excited for June, and I look forward to reviewing that film. Another film that you should already know that I am highly anticipating and the most excited for is Digger, Tom Cruise's new film. CinemaCon got an exclusive look into its brand new trailer, and I'm just waiting for the rest of us to be able to see it. An exclusive footage description reads, A haggard Tom Cruise as Digger Rockwell, an industrialist living in a secluded mansion in the woods. He's foul-mouthed, balding, and sports a thick country accent, treating everyone with disdain other than his cat. When an employee at one of his oil drilling sites reports that methane is causing water to flow up, disrupting the ice shelf, Digger curses him out, telling him to continue as usual. This decision has catastrophic consequences, displacing entire nations. This sounds like it's going to be such a fun, possibly fast-paced, chaotic masterpiece, and I'm already hoping that Tom gets his Oscar and Golden Globe nomination for his role in this film. Speaking of Tom, it has just been reported that Top Gun 3 has been greenlit. Paramount will produce the film as they did with the first Top Gun and Top Gun Maverick. There have been rumours about it, but I haven't really paid much attention to it. But since the recent news has actually confirmed it on most platforms, it looks like it's happening. So I'm sure the aerial scenes are going to be immaculate. I'm a little bit surprised they are doing another one, if I have to be honest. But of course, I will have myself sitting in that cinema seat watching every single minute of that film. So I look forward to when that's going to come out. Another surprise announcement happened at CinemaCon. Final Destination 7 has been greenlit also and is currently in the works. It is scheduled to be released on May 12th, 2028. Now, I saw the 6th one that they did last year and it was absolutely fantastic. Honestly, I think it's actually the best one in the series, if not rivaling the first one that came out in the year 2000. I am pretty surprised they're doing another one because I do feel like that they rounded up the story really well in the last one, especially with Tony Todd playing William Bloodworth. He's been like a staple fan favorite character throughout the whole series. And unfortunately, he passed away, but they managed to film the last one with him being included. And I think just with his farewell speech in the film and just the way they rounded up the story and the link to other characters in the past series, I think they rounded up the film really well. I think if they didn't do another one, it would make complete sense, and it just happens to be the best one in the series for me. However, I am genuinely happy they are doing another one because I just love the roller coaster journey that you go throughout this whole series, and that's no pun towards the third film, which is based on the fairground roller coaster scene. But you just go on such a journey throughout this series, and every film is different, but there is some kind of link to maybe like a previous series based on a character or something. But I look forward to seeing what they do for the next one. My last highlight of CinemaCon, David Ellison made a surprise appearance and tripled down on his stance on a 45-day theatrical window and 30 films a year being produced by Paramount as an outcome of this Paramount Warner Bros. Deal. I love how Variety magazine specifically emphasized triples down because this is the third time we actually have heard him say this. He actually goes on to say, at Paramount, we've already demonstrated since launching the new company just 8 months ago, our ability to increase output with 15 films currently dated for 2026, up from 8 in 2025. We want to tell even more great stories on the big screen, stories that make people think, laugh, dream, wonder, and feel, and we want to share them with as broad an audience as possible. I guess we'll take his word for it. Let's see what Paramount will do. So what can we take away as film enthusiasts as a result of CinemaCon this year? Well, we definitely have an amazing lineup of films coming out this year and post 2026. But from the corporate point of view, it looks like the movie theatres have been championed quite heavily. And if the executives are successful in enforcing their vision, it looks like cinema is here to stay. Moving on from CinemaCon, but staying on David Ellison, Paramount responds to an open letter signed by over 3,000 Hollywood names opposing the Paramount Warner Bros. Deal. Some of the names include Bryan Cranston, Glenn Close, Ben Stiller, Don Cheadle, Jason Bateman, and directors such as J.J. Abrams and Denis Villeneuve. A small excerpt from the full letter reads, "Our industry is already under severe strain, in large part due to prior waves of consolidation. We have witnessed a steep decline in the number of films produced and released, alongside a narrowing of the kinds of stories that are financed and distributed. Increasingly, a small number of powerful entities determine what gets made and on what terms, leaving creators and independent businesses with fewer viable paths to sustain their work." Now, Paramount's response to this letter included the following excerpt. We understand the concerns raised as a result of the disruptions caused to our industry by COVID, entry of big tech, and changes in consumer behavior, but we promise this. Paramount remains deeply committed to talent, and this merger strengthens both consumer choice and competition, creating greater opportunities for creators, audiences, and the communities they live and work in. I think it was proactive to write an open letter to Paramount. I think having over 1,000 individuals from the very industry that the deal is operating in, with names that have personally worked with the studios themselves, is a great way to stand together. It'll be interesting to see if any of them work with Paramount or Warner Bros. In the same way. Truthfully, I'm sure they will continue their relationship with the studios as long as they get their fair cut, and I'm not really saying that in a bad way, it's just the reality of the matter. On the same subject, Mark Ruffalo, who has been very vocal on his views against the merger and was actually one of the signatories of the open letter, spoke at a hearing saying, "We do not have to watch Citizen Kane or read 1984 to understand that the concentrated oligarchic control this merger represents is a threat to free press, an informed populace, and democracy itself. Don't trust empty promises from billionaires driven by greed and corrosive ideology. Don't trust that this new company will somehow make more films with less money and so much more debt." Well, there's certainly words to remember. The shareholder vote for the Paramount takeover takes place this Thursday, 23rd April. We'll soon see what Warner Bros. Decide to vote on, and we will definitely be following the merger journey from there. That's all we have for TWIF This Week in Film. Let me know if there are any other highlights that came out of CinemaCon that stuck out for you. What do you think about this open letter to Paramount, and do you think it will deter the shareholder vote happening this week? Subscribe to continue following this journey with me and to keep up with film industry news, and I will see you in the comments.